Alright, so today's video, we're watching a Bronze 2 support on PC, playing Kiriko. They say hello. This game was pretty close. However, I felt that our team was constantly scattered around the map, and I had no idea where to position myself. I also struggled with not knowing when to ult because of this. During the first round, our DPS and Ball started fighting with each other, with the DPS saying that Ball needed to switch to protect the team. Oh, that's a classic. And the Ball saying he had the best kill-death ratio. Well, you're on Wrecking Ball. That should happen. I'd love to be able to climb out of bronze, but I know I need to work on my gameplay a lot. Any advice is appreciated. It goes back to that perceived value of Wrecking Ball, where the Wrecking Ball probably isn't incorrect and like that they're bringing value, but because the player cannot see that direct value in front of them, they automatically assume that player is doing nothing. Anyway, let's see what happens, see how it goes, and let's go from there. All right. So far, I mean, you're doing fine here. Like I said, in bronze, I want to point out, chat, whenever I watch VODs, the way that we'll like react to stuff they have to do might be different per rank, because each rank's going to play differently. Like, I'm not going to sit here and expect the Kiriko to be doing all the things you would see in top 500, because that just isn't how it's going to go. And I try to do that with pretty much any VOD we watch, is like, each rank plays differently, each balance is different, how it's going to play. So like, that's why I'm not like, oh, get on the high ground right now, because like, they haven't had to get on the high ground. They're all over, you know, everybody's deathmatching. Like, it's going to be how the team's playing. They're vibing, they're healing, they're staying around the cart. Like, all this is fine. And by the way, can you see what I'm saying about the Wrecking Ball going in and making plays? Like, that's the stuff I'm kind of talking about. Is where, like, you can clearly see that they're getting value, but, like, the DPS player is just not paying attention to what they're doing and is automatically assuming that they're not getting value. For example, the Wrecking Ball set up that whole play there for the DPS. I do, we spectate every rank. I mean, a lot of it comes down to if it's going to be entertaining or not. Wait, thanks for the 13 months for Feature Sprats. Thank you, appreciate it. In that situation, your teammates are definitely all over the place. You want to help, you stay in the cart. Yeah, could you have teleported in? But like, who's your teleport spot? Someone 2 feet away from you, they probably can follow up on you. I mean, it's better to use your Swift Step, in my opinion. If there's one thing we can take from this, is just don't be afraid to use it, because you never know. Like, sometimes you're like, oh, they're gonna get me anyway, but like, why not use it? What happens if you TP to them and they miss their shot? Next thing you know, you heal up, your Wrecking Ball mines them, boom, you survive, right? If you're in a situation where you don't know where to go and like they're gonna get you, just hit your Swift Step anyway and then just see what happens. If I'm correct, doesn't like Swift Step also put you out of combat right away too? So like, you can start healing. Maybe I misunderstand it, but like, doesn't Swift Step technically get you out of combat so you can start your support passive right away? So like, if that's the case too, don't be afraid of Kitsune this, by the way. This is where you definitely want to Kitsune, because you mentioned like, oh, where do I want to do it? Like, if you see how you're not ulting first and now your teammates are behind, I guess in theory you could get out, but like, I'm okay with you even there in like a 3v5 using your Kitsune. You'd be very surprised like how that goes. Now you definitely want to use it. Like, if you don't use it then, you want to, okay, but no. I'm gonna see how this team fight goes, but like, you're now going, like, why? Kitsune. I'm going back to the classic. Kitsune. There you go. It's way too long though. And let me explain why. There's so many players that get into this mindset that if they use their ultimate, it's not going to benefit them. Kitsune benefits your team, and it's why it's one of the best ultimates in the game. On top of that, everybody goes fast. Everybody's cooldowns come back quicker. Like, there's so much more damage output happening, and the other team truthfully can't play in the Kitsune. You could have used this 15 seconds quicker. They have to back up. It helps your team, but instead you just hold it. And then when you do use it, it's not an absolute like awesome time. You use it a little bit late, and now their team wins the team fight. Yeah, what you're... By the way, random cleanse. Anyway, you're playing this right. You're not playing too close. You're playing distance. You're trying to help your teammates. You're trying to have shots there. Now, this is once again what I'm talking about, where that was clearly a spot where you became the target. Why are you not using your abilities? When you're in a game with a Wrecking Ball, your Swift Step becomes even more important now, because you don't have that safety net of like having like plenty of time to react to like your Rhine shield going down. You need to be able to react almost immediately or recognize when they're on you. Try not to, you know, fall over as Kiriko with your Swift Step like available to be used, unless you're by yourself. You just never know what's going to happen when you Swift Step in and then make a play, or like just like, you'd be very surprised at how many times I cannot get in the limb in top 500 on a Kiriko who just TPs in front of me.
Emongg.
You know what I'm saying? This is a Bronze 2 game, yes. Yep, this is a Bronze 2 game. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Once again, was your cleanse a little bit early? Yeah. But chat, is the Suzu even the issue there? Is it even? No, it's not. You had Swift Step. And because you don't use your Swift Step, you die to the Orisa ultimate. That should never happen. Like, Swift Step is a huge part. That's another reason why, like, you know how they recently did Kiriko nerfs? And one of the Kiriko nerfs was just making Swift Step longer? It's because, like, if you're using your Swift Step correctly, it is frustrating to play against. I like how your reaction was to try to Suzu the floor after you already Suzu'd. Do not... Okay, now. Not yet, actually. I was gonna say, I want you to Kitsune this sooner than later, but your team is, I think, gonna win this, so I'm gonna let you get away with this play, because I think it's a good save of your ultimate. But if you use your Kitsune here, I don't think I would have been too aggressive on that. I think it would have been okay. Ooh, nice ult. Rank is this bronze? I mean, I don't think they're playing like the one thing that I really think that you're doing a good job of is I'm seeing a good balance of you trying to input damage or healing. It really comes down to the rest of your kit. Straight up. All right, nice. Huge Kitsune. Oh, I'm fine with that. Just so you know, I'm fine with that. I know you couldn't follow up in it, but you know, you got on the limb for it. Your team worked together. That cleanse is fine. Now that your Swift Step's the next part you want to worry about here. All right, you're good for now. Did no one use it? Okay, so let me point this out. Sometimes with Kitsune, you're going to use Kitsune and no one's going to use your Kitsune. When you go, well, that seems kind of counterproductive. Like, why wouldn't you use your Kitsune? Just remember that, like, the other team, a lot of the time, isn't going to want to play in a Kitsune. So sometimes it can be a good zone and all. Thank you. They got you there, they did all that, but they had to at least react to that. I'm glad you used your Swift Step. I'm okay with that. That's a tough spot there, but you used your Swift Step that time. That was good. Ooh, good EMP. I don't know if you're gonna follow up on that. Oh, they're so low. Oh, that's so frustrating, isn't it? Like, you see all of them low, and it's just like if you hit 2 headshots, they both fall over, but then, like, you're gonna miss that? Damn. That wasn't a terrible half out of you, though, right? I never see you up there. We have Arnie on the cat tower behind. He's never up there. What are you doing, buddy? You playing? Wow, we are AC broke and you became a whole new kitty. Let's do this.
Come on.
You know what your #1 issue is? You're just afraid to use your abilities because you like know how important the abilities are, so you're afraid to use the abilities, but because you're waiting for like the perfect usage of the abilities, you never use them, and then you fall over because you know how important the abilities are. If you're worried about using the ability terribly, the only way you're gonna know if you're using the ability terribly consistently is by using the ability. If you play it too safe, and you've probably heard me mention this a lot, like right there, why are you not cleansing? Why are you not teleporting? Like, what is preventing you from doing that? And a lot of what I see here, or at least it makes me feel like that, is that you're just afraid to use your abilities because you know how good the abilities are. Use your abilities, and then with time, you'll see the more you use your abilities, the more you'll understand how to use it. On top of that, play to win, don't play not to lose.
Now go get him.
I'm just glad you used your cleanse there. You generally have a good idea of like doing damage and healing, so that's the least of my worries this game. Yeah, you just don't use your abilities. Consistent. Little side note here, just remember that like you have Projectile, which means that most of the time you want to lead with your shots. So like what it looked like you were trying to do there was you're trying to hit scan aim them. If they're going somewhere else, lead your shots and you're gonna like, it's gonna be in good results. I have noticed sometimes you'll fall into like you'll start to try to hit scan aim when you need to lead. You see like right there how you were behind them? You want to lead because you're aiming where like they initially were at, but like Projectile means you have to go where they're gonna be at because your travel time on that, there's a travel time to it, or like, you know how it works. Hit scan's immediate. That has a travel time. Or however, I think that's a good way to describe it. You're fine, you can stay cart. There it is again. I knew it too. Just use your cleanse, please. I'm telling you right now, I can tell you're afraid to use the ability. Just please use your, just use that ability. I'm telling you, you're gonna see way more success if you do. Nothing happening right now. But you also said your teammates were arguing with your ball. Like they were saying that like your wrecking ball was, they wanted somebody to protect the team. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think your wrecking ball has been playing fairly well. They've been doing exactly what you want a wrecking ball to do. They're constantly in their back line. They're constantly pressuring them. I mean, I think your wrecking ball is not like an issue in that sense. It's your Farrer, I think. Your Farrer's standing still AFK. I think they're probably typing to the ball, telling him to switch.
Damn it.
Little side note here. If you don't know what to do in between a team fight, one, go for map control, whether that's going for high ground, getting into a better position, or two, just be like, hey, they have this ultimate and prepare for that ultimate. Do that and you'll have things to do in between team fights rather than just stand around. Those are pretty simple things to do. You're not gonna necessarily be accurate with your ultimates all the time, but it's a team effort. If your teammates are there to actually communicate, which obviously has been, as we know, when Overwatch has become less and less happening, but you know what I mean, like, it's good to play around that because it's a lot easier to play around an ultimate when you do that. I want to see an early Kitsune out of you here. I think it'd be really helpful. I think this can really set the tone for your team. Not now. Now you can wait. You have a little bit of time on the clock. Don't be too safe with the ultimate, but I think it's okay to wait a second here. Here we go. It's okay to say, bro. You said sounds gonna be ST. Are you referencing like them not doing that, or are you saying like that what I just said? Sometimes I don't know the context. If you don't mind going further than that. Wall climb? Yeah. I mean, like I said, every rank's a little bit different. So like, I don't necessarily. If I was watching a plat game right now and I was watching the Kiriko never wall climb, I'd be like, okay, listen, you need to do this. But I also don't want to overcomplicate things. I try to start with very much the basics of heroes for people because like you need to start somewhere, and if you don't get the ABCs down correctly, it's going to be a longer grind. Good Kitsune, by the way. I love your usage of Kitsune, especially after they just use their javelin spin, which means that at the very least, they're not going to prevent damage to your teammates. I don't mind that at all. Great cleanse, too. And people are going to go, oh, but they just Arista ulted, etc., etc. The timing of that cleanse, I was fine with. I was fine with that. I saw the vision of what you were doing. So far, so good. Remember, your Swift Step and your Suzu are important, but don't be afraid to use them. They're not. You can use those abilities a bit more frequently. You're fine right now. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to use them. I gotta say, by the way, I don't know what your DPS was seeing that they were saying your Wrecking Ball wasn't doing anything and needed to help the team. The Wrecking Ball has led to so many limbs that, like, this goes back to the classic, like, players just want to blame players sometimes. Not a bad attack there. I do want to once again reiterate, I think your Wrecking Ball's playing fine, so I still don't know why your DPS player was like, oh, we need you back here to protect the team when that was the least of the issues, at least in my opinion. Here we go. Have one. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. How does Wrecking Ball do at high levels? Oh, wonderful. Let me give you a tip of advice on Wrecking Ball. By the way, great usage of your Swift Step. You didn't know if you were going to survive that to wherever you went to, but that's why I want to see you use Swift Step. You see that? You had like 10 HP. You Swift Stepped in the middle of the nowhere. You survived it, and now here you are. Bad cleanse, but I'm just glad you're hitting buttons. But yeah, Wrecking Ball, the best tip of advice I have for Wrecking Ball, if you're trying to learn Wrecking Ball, it's pretty simple. You're large Tracer. You know how you would play Tracer? That's it. Play Wrecking Ball like that. Same type of strategy. You're gonna generally engage from behind them. You're gonna go for health packs. You're just literally a huge. Good job here. You're legit just a huge what's it called? Oh, cleanse right away. By the way, you need to be immediate with that cleanse. They could have easily followed up there. You're just a huge Tracer. That's literally it.
Let's change that.
I can do that after T-Dog if you want. I got you. Good start for your team. Yeah, pretty much all my spectatings, unless asked otherwise, go on YouTube. I think we've had one time. We had one time where we didn't upload a video because somebody said that they submitted a video that wasn't actually theirs. It was their friends, and their friends didn't want it up, and that was it. And we said, sure, of course. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna, of course, that's okay. I'm not gonna not put it up. I mean, I'm not gonna put it up at that point is what I meant. Anyway, good job there, good win, good to see. Number one issue you're gonna run into, and I just went on a whole thing about it, and you probably know what I'm gonna talk about. Just use your abilities, please. Be quicker with your Kitsunes. Be willing to use your Swift Step. Try not to, like, lose a team fight because you decide not to use your Swift Step at any point. I still have no idea what your DPS was talking about with the Wrecking Ball. Like, your Wrecking Ball, in my opinion, was playing very well. They didn't feed that much. They had good value. They constantly felt like they were in the team fight. So just use your abilities. Recognize when they're good or bad, and I think you'll get a lot better. We have the Where Are They Now series, so if you can just use that stuff when you feel like you're still struggling in a few months after that, then we can just, that's what the Where Are They Now series is for too. So you got this. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. Leave a comment, all of that helps. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. You'll see my Discord right there. That's where you can do all of that stuff. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat right below the webcam. Stop by if you haven't. We have a lot of fun here. With that being said, I hope you have an amazing day/night.